is going on, ladies and gents? Welcome back to the channel, guys. I am your host, Jin-No-Shan. It is hotter than a hot thing outside, but today we've got a little bit of a hotter video coming for you. So this is an unboxing video. Haven't done one of these in a while. The last one we did, I believe, was the Midnight Black PlayStation Portal unboxing. But anyway, we're here today to stick to the gaming theme, but I've purchased a little something from the Tiki Toki shop. So I just want to go out and say, as we're opening this, bit of a disclaimer, I have not been paid for this. This is not a commission based video. This is just something I have bought completely off my own back, off recommendations and things that I've seen on prior videos. I am, as you know, a massive gamer. Love anything to do with gaming, especially retro type gaming, which we're starting to dive into now on the channel. So if you are interested in retro content, make sure you check out the channel both on YouTube and Twitch. But we today are going to be looking at the Game Stick Controller Gamepad. Now, there are different versions of these, so I'll make sure I'll leave the exact version that I'm testing, unboxing and looking at with you today in the description of this video. But in essence, this is a gaming stick that is supposed to hold a serious amount of retro games on it. So you've got all sorts of games which we will be showing shortly. The idea in how this works is this is a HDMI stick. It goes into your TV or your gaming monitor. I use a capture card regularly, so I'm going to be testing that on the capture card, the TV and the monitor, so you guys can see exactly how it works on each of them if you're considering buying this. It's an emulator chip in essence, and it's all built into this HDMI stick. So the stick goes into the HDMI slot, obviously, on your TV or your monitor. It's powered with a power cable, which you have to make sure you plugged in. Apparently there was a couple of things on there. There you go. Please use the power plug. If there are any issues, please contact us. And that is basically it. But you just have to make sure that bit like an Amazon Fire Stick, you can't just plug this in and it works straight away. You need to make sure that there's a power source going into this, which is there. There's an SD card, which I've been told that you can still add further ROMs and stuff on it. So if you're someone that knows how to use emulators and ROMs well, you can actually put more games onto this, which is crazy. So you've got an SD card storage slot there, which SD card already in it, obviously, because it's got the games pre-installed. There's your USB-B, I believe, or USB-A slot there. I think it's a B slot. And then the other end is a USB-A, which I'll show you in a second in terms of how to charge it. You just take the cover off. There's your HDMI. That goes into your TV, your screen, your monitor, all that jazz. You have got a dongle there as well, which ensures that the controllers are wireless. You need to make sure that that's plugged in to the same source. And here are your controllers. And what's really cool is that you get two of them. The controllers, I have to admit, feel a little bit flimsy. They are 100% plastic. So although they look like a PS2 controller, edging into PS3, the quality on them straight away you can feel isn't as nice. But you wouldn't expect it for something that was so cheap. So I managed to pick this up for £30 on the TikTok shop. That includes two controllers, everything you need, the power source, the lot. What you do need to make sure is that you've got your AAA batteries in these as well. So the AAA batteries power the controllers. You get two of them. Here's the other one that's in the box. You get two, which is really cool because actually if you were to buy a PS2 or a PS3 controller now, it would probably set you back 20 or 30 quid for a decent one alone, just for the controller itself, and you get two of them with this. Everything else is in the box. There is your power lead that's just dropped on the floor, and there is your extension cable for your USB, so your HDMI, sorry. So you can plug your HDMI into there, and if you need a little bit more wiggle room, there's an adapter and an extender there. And that is basically it, all inclusive in the box. So it did take a while for this to come in terms of postage, but obviously based on where it's being shipped from, it can take a while. So make sure that you're not planning to get this for like a couple of days. It took all in all about 5 to 6 days, business days, for this to come. So obviously if you're looking to get something that's gonna scratch that retro itch and you're not too worried about how long it's gonna take to get to you, then get it, just based on shipping and stuff alone. As you can see there, it's got a wireless transmitter for the controller, so there's absolutely no leads for these guys. You just need to make sure that there's batteries in the back that power the controller itself, There's a switch there, which is your Bluetooth receiver basically, and then that connects to the tiny little dongle that we picked up here. And you need to make sure that that dongle is in the same source either as your HDMI. So whether it's your TV, your monitor, you'll have a USB slot, plug it in, and you're good to go. This will probably work as well if you plug it into your PC. So if your PC is under your desk, behind the desk, whatever it is at the side, mine's under the desk personally here. So you can just slot that into your PC, and then that acts as your Bluetooth transmitter basically for your controllers. Then your controllers are done. All you then need to do is find your HDMI slot for this, plug that in, and just make sure that you're also powering the stick itself, so it acts identically to a Fire Stick. The Fire Stick won't work if it hasn't got a power source. If you just plug a Fire Stick into your TV, you'll find out very quickly that you'll get no signal, and that's why you need to make sure that this is powered as well and plugged into the HDMI slot, and then you're good to go. So that's the unboxing done, guys. We're now going to move on to some live footage of the stick in use and in power, just to give you an idea of the selection of games that you can get on it pre-installed, and to make your mind up as to whether you want to get this one or not. Like I said, not on commission for this at all. I don't get anything. This is just me shouting out a cool little device that I've found on the TikTok shop for all you gamers out there. So without further ado, let's have a look at what it can do. And just like that, gang, we are locked in, ready to go. So just as a bit of a disclaimer, because I found out the hard way, the USB dongle that comes in the box has to go into the stick itself. So if I'll show you very quickly now, so you know what I mean. On the side of the TV, I've put in the HDMI stick, but as you can see, the receiver needs to go into the end of the dongle itself. So initially I put the receiver into a separate USB slot on the TV. That is not what you need to do, and it doesn't work. So essentially the dongle is the connection for the controllers to the device itself. So the dongle needs to go into the device, and then the whole thing goes into the HDMI, and then it's powered to the power socket with the provided power cable. So just FYI on that. But yeah, very easy to set up. I've just put 2 AAA batteries into the controller, which go in the back. I've turned it on, and straight away it's, as you can see, there's a green light. It's paired directly to the stick. And as you can see, absolutely tons and tons of games on this. But also, there is little to no lag input. There's no latency, there's no nothing. As soon as I press the button, it operates almost like it's directly into a console. You've got all sorts on here, guys. You've got the Atari, the Amstrad, you've got the arcade machine emulator. There's an Atari 5200, which I didn't even know existed. You've got, oh my god, look at all this stuff. MS-10, MSX, Odyssey 2. Some of this is before my time, I'm not going to lie. Game Boy. I don't know what Game & Watch is, but my god, there's loads of stuff. Neo Geo, Neo Pocket, there's Dreamcast games on here. Sega Genesis. Sinclair, 4P games, favorites, and what's really cool is you've got a favorites tab. So if there's any games on there, as you can see on the bottom, once you play them, you can add them to your favorites, and then they appear over in that list. You've got PlayStation Portable games, which we're going to have a very quick look at now. God of War, oh my god, here we go. Grand Theft Auto, Pez, Crisis Core, hell yes, I've been wanting to play that game for ages. Tenchu 4's on there, Ridge Racer's another favourite of mine, Grand Theft Auto China Wars, Def Jam Fight for New York, another classic, Dynasty Warriors Volume 2, Spider-Man 2, TNT Racers. This is crazy. There's 267 PlayStation Portal games alone, guys, just to give you an idea of how many games are on each thing. These are mainly arcade games, but all games that are playable on the portable, sorry. That's absolutely crazy. You got DS, N64. If they've got Pokemon Stadium, I'm gonna freak out. I'm just gonna say. This is amazing. They got Bomberman, Carmageddon. Can you remember that? That's a classic. Castlevania games on there. Doom 64, Duke Nukem. Oh my word, GoldenEye, that had to be on there. That's a classic for the N64. Mario Kart's on there for all you Mario Kart lovers. Mario Tennis. There's Mission Impossible. There's NASCAR, NBA, NHL, NFL, Paperboy. Oh my word, they've got Pokemon Stadium 2, Pokemon Snap, Rat Attack, that's a classic. Rugrats, Scavenger Hunt, Scooby-Doo. South Park's on there. South Park Rally. Star Fox, oh my god, that takes me back. There's so many games on there. Mario 64. And again, guys, this is just the N64 section. There's different sections. There's loads of different stuff. We're going to have a quick look at the PlayStation section because that's my home turf. Actua Soccer is an absolute classic. I spent hours and hours playing that game as a kid. Alfred Chicken, Alien Resurrection, Alien Trilogy, Animaniacs. I didn't know they even had a PlayStation game of that. I thought it was just SNES, so there you go. Learned something new today. You've got Batman on there, Batman and Robin, Batman Beyond, Batman Forever. This is absolutely insane. Bloody Roar is a classic. Bushido Blade. I could go on and on, guys, but like I said, you can continue to add more ROMs. If you're familiar with ROMs and how they work, you can take the SD card out of the stick and you can put it into a USB adapter for your PC and you can download fresh ROMs. So if there's any games on here that you want on these things that aren't there, look at all the Crash Bandicoot games. You can absolutely add more. You can add more and more to them, so why would you not want to? I've just clicked on Crash Bandicoot just to see how this loads up. I love that boot up screen, by the way. I'm just going to give a real time, how does this work? Type look. We've got the OG music. I don't know if you can hear it. My TV's not that loud. The picture is really good. And apparently, I'm going to test it on my ultra-wide monitor in a second, but the picture scales to the resolution of the screen of the monitor, i.e. if you've got a widescreen TV, it will stretch to widescreen, so it gets all those annoying black bars from the top and the bottom of the screen off. And as you can see, works an absolute treat. This is crazy. I've got a PlayStation, I've got my PlayStation 2 and my 3, I've got PlayStations all the way up to PS5, but I'm telling you now, this is going to save so much space. You don't need a memory card. You can do save slots. Just press of a button. You just press start and select, and you can do a save spot. Look at the seamless interaction with it, guys. Look, you can do D-pad as well. So I'll do D-pad. It's seamless. It's absolutely seamless. And obviously, we're going to test this on a monitor in a second. It might be a little bit sharper on a monitor, but even so, this is a big LG, I think it's a 42-inch 4K TV, and it's got no lag input whatsoever. Press the button and it works. That is absolutely crazy. So there's Crash Bandicoot. Like I said, there's other options. If you want to add more ROMs or games on that aren't on the stick, you can actually add them in yourself, which is just crazy. So if you're familiar with how to use ROMs, how to download them, how to work them, you can just add more and more and more. It's got a seriously decent SD card size, so you can just continue to add it. And it'll work seamlessly if you know what you're doing. So it doesn't end there, but do you know what I mean? There's absolutely tons and tons and tons of options. And as we go there, to get out of it, you just press start and select. And that's what I said earlier in the video about a save state. That's basically your memory card. There's cheats as well. If you want to set up cheats, there's disk management. So that again is if you want to change the image of the disk, or if there's multiple disks, like on PlayStation, some of the games you had to switch disks at certain points, like the Final Fantasy games, for example. You had to switch disks at certain points. So it's madness. It's absolute madness. You've got Nintendo DS, and you can just shoulder them over. And if you notice when you press the shoulder button up here, it changes the format of what you're looking at. So there's your favorites, there's PSP, Sinclair, and it tells you at the top how many games are loaded onto that specific system. So if you're into Sega Genesis and that's your bag, you've got 890 games to enjoy. That's before you've even considered ROMs and adding more. Here's the Dreamcast, because I know a Dreamcast is another favorite. You've got Code Veronica on there, Blue Stinger, Crazy Taxi, the Japanese version, Daytona. I used to love that game in the arcades. Aqua GT is another classic. Fighting Force, I used to really enjoy playing that. House of the Dead, Legacy of Kain, Soul Reaver. And some of these games, guys, you can get these on the PlayStation Store, right? Arguably. But how much are they going to set you back? You either have to pay a subscription fee to PS Plus, or some of these games, even if they're like medieval, for example, it'll set you back about £8 to £10 just to buy that, and you think that's cheap, and it is. But this is £30, and you've got all these other games on top of that. You could just flick through at the press of a button what system you want to play on and what games you want to play. There's absolutely tons of them. Like some of these games I didn't even know existed on the PSP, but they're here. You've got Farm Frenzy games, Fighting Fantasy, Vortex is another good one. Some of these I haven't even played. I didn't even know what they're like. But just look at the selection of games that you can get. Hours and hours and hours of fun. You've got Mahjong on there if you just like your casual games, your puzzle games. And you can just keep adding them. You can just keep adding more. If there's a game on there you don't see that you want on there, that isn't, oh my god, they've got Lord of the Rings games. You could just keep adding them. Do you know what I mean? You could just keep adding and adding and adding. Obviously, some of the ROMs will work slightly better than others. It depends on the format. But like I keep saying, if you know what you're doing with ROMs, this is an endless retro gaming device. You can just continue adding more and more and more and more classics to it. So there is the quick overview of the TV. Very, very pleased. Very little lag input. No latency. Amazing fire up. Little to no loading times. Easy to save. Easy to set up. And what I'm going to do now is transfer the stick over to my gaming setup where I do all my recording, all my streaming, and I'm going to try and put it into my ultra wide monitor just to see if it does scale it up to the ultra wide setting, and if it's easy to set up with a capture card as well for anyone that does streams and has a channel and stuff like that. Because you might want to put this on your channel. You might want to just go through, fire this up with your viewers, your watchers, and put this up as a live stream and just play some retro games. And what's really cool is people in the room with you, you've got a second controller, so you can fire this up on the big TV Friday night, get some pizzas in with your friends, your family, your loved ones, and you can have a controller each, and you can just play through some of these retro games, because a lot of these are two-player as well. And do you know what I mean? It's endless. It's absolutely endless. And if there's a game on there that you really, really enjoyed as a kid that isn't here, like Bomberman, endless hours of party fun with that. They've got the Mario Kart games on there. Bushido Blades, a fun two-player game. Slice each other up on it. It's just tons. There's tons. Look at it. Command and Conquer. There's Cool Borders, Crash Bandicoot, Croc. It just goes on, guys. David Beckham Soccer I didn't even know existed. Dead or Alive, classic fighting game. The Die Hard trilogy, those are classics. Dino Crisis, hell yes, 1 and 2. That could be an option even for the channel, because I've been trying to get hold of Dino Crisis on the disc version for the PlayStation 1, and if you try and buy that now in any gaming shop, it's going to set you back double figures. You're going to be paying at least 20-30 quid for that game, because it's quite hard to come by. It's becoming a little bit of a collector's item. So straight away, fire this stick up, it's on there. Fighting Force 1 and 2, Final Fantasy Anthology, they got some tactics in there. Frogger's on there, that's a classic. I used to love playing that. Future Cop LAPD, I can remember playing that on one of the PlayStation Magazine demos. Gex is on there. Gran Turismo, the OG one. OG Grand Theft Auto, look at that. Kids don't even know, that's how Grand Theft Auto started. Look at those graphics. Top down view. But yeah, we're going to switch over to the monitor, guys, just to show you very quickly what it looks like on a 4K ultra wide monitor, just to see how it feels, if it's got the same latency, if it's got the same response time, and just to give you an overall view of what it looks like. Because a lot of people, I imagine, in the gaming setup will probably have a monitor, but I wanted to show you on the TV just in case you've got like a living room setup or you've got a big TV in your room versus a monitor. It looks absolutely seamless and looks great. Resolution's 1080, by the way. It will scale to your TV. That's confirmed, that's definite, you've seen that. So let's switch over to the monitor, and the answer is yes. There we go, guys. It's actually scaled it to 720 on this monitor, but as you can see, this is an ultra wide Alienware monitor, which normally packs a punch of 21:9, not 16:9 or whatever it is, widescreen. So it's already scaled the picture up to the resolution of the monitor, which is amazing. I also have managed to put it into my capture card, so for any of you that were wondering, does this go straight into a capture card, does it work on streaming software, stuff like that, because I know sometimes there's HDCP issues with copyright and things like that. The answer is yes, it does work, and you can stream it from your capture card. At least I can, and I'm using the AVerMedia 2 Plus portable live gamer capture card. Try and say that when you've had a few. But basically, it works exactly the same. Just to give you a flavour of what we're talking about, we're now on the monitor. You can plug this straight into the monitor, but I just wanted to see if it's running from the capture card. And as you can see, I've got it plugged into the in section for the HDMI port on the capture card, and it's running straight into the monitor as normal. So I can play this as that is set up, but if I wanted to, I could also do some content. I can record. I can also stream this as well. So look forward to seeing some more retro content, guys. And again, there is no lag input whatsoever, no latency at all. It's scaled it completely to the top screen and the full screen as well at that. This is the best monitor I've got out of the two. I have got another monitor there, but that one is not 4K, whereas this one is. So I wanted to just see, and it's ultra wide, this one, so I just wanted to see if it would work and load it in. And like I said, if you've got, all you need is one USB slot. You can also plug the power cable into a USB plug, so almost like an Amazon Fire Stick plug it into the main socket for the power source, and then just plug the stick itself, the HDMI bit, into your monitor. You don't have to use up all the ports on the monitor if you don't want to. You can use a socket source for the power, and then just use everything else for everything else. But look at this, guys. These are the analog stick inputs. I've been tackled because I'm trying to do this one-handed. But it's absolutely seamless. Absolutely seamless. And straight away we can just close content, go straight back out. I'm going to have hours and hours of fun with this, and it's an amazing piece of kit. Like I said, it's endless really, because you can just keep continuing to add any of the ROMs that you want to add that aren't here. So anyone that's savvy with it, download the ROMs, install it on the SD stick, and it should, in theory, play straight off the stick like this does. That's what I've been assured. I haven't tested it, as you can see in this video. I haven't given back into that. But now that the video's coming to an end, that's the first thing I'm going to do. I'm going to go away, test out the ROMs, and if you guys want to reach out and find out if the ROMs work and how I've done it, I can let you know in the comments. Obviously, I've got to be very careful with copyright and stuff like that. And a little bit of a disclaimer, make sure anyone using ROMs that you own the original version of the game, because it's illegal if you don't. So I'm just going to put that in there as well. Wink, wink, hyphen, hyphen, quote, quote, is what I'm saying. So you need to be really careful with what you're installing. Don't condone any illegal behavior unless I'm involved in it. No, I'm joking. Please don't sue me. But anyway, that's what we're looking at. So the only criticism I've got of the whole thing is how flimsy the controllers feel. They feel like cheap plastic, and they are cheap plastic. As you can see, this thumbstick is absolutely atrocious in terms of how it feels. It does not feel like a PS2. It might look like a PS2 3 aesthetically, but it's very light. It's very easy to break, I imagine, as well. So you've just got to be careful with it. But aside from the feel of the controllers, everything else is fantastic. The library available of games, the features, the interface is really easy. I love the fact that you can add your own favorites to it as well. You've got 2 controllers in the box, so if you want to play co-op in the same room, couch co-op, if you want to do anything like that, you can. There's plenty of games on here where you can do that. You've got some classics as well that you probably never would have been able to play on a screen. Classic Game Boy games, Animaniacs. I'm just going to fire that up real quick just to see how that's going to work, because this is a handheld. Obviously handhelds have a much smaller screen, so we're probably going to get the borders on this one. We might not, I don't know. Nope, no borders. It's scaled it to the full size of the monitor, which is nuts. Absolutely nuts. There's some top tier tech out there that can't do that. Even certain games on PS5 now are still not ultra wide. There's only certain games that will scale to ultra wide. So normally when I play a game on this monitor, if it's not got an ultra wide feature, I have to deal with the black bars at the side and the top and everything else. Whereas as you can see, this is a Game Boy game, which is actually scaling to the full size of the ultra wide screen, which is nuts. It's absolutely nuts. And again, very seamless, guys. I'm now playing full screen ultra wide Game Boy games. Look at that. Nuts. Absolutely nuts. So I can't rave about the product enough. I think straight out of the box, it's very, very easy to put together, very easy to assemble, very accessible for both TVs and for monitors alike. And as I've shown, I've got an ultra wide monitor as well. Most games don't work on an ultra wide monitor, at least they don't scale to the resolution of it, so you have to normally deal with the black borders around it. But all of these games scale to the resolution of whatever screen you're using, whether that's a gaming monitor, an ultra wide TV, an ultra wide monitor, an OLED TV, 4K, 1080, 720, whatever it is. You could be using a portable monitor, you could be using a tablet, an iPad, whatever it is, and it will scale to that screen. And it's just fantastic. Everything you need is in the box. All you need separately to what comes in the box is 2 AAA batteries for each controller. So one of these holds 2 AAA batteries. Very, very easy to pick up. You could pick up a pack of 40 of them from the pound shop, or you can get them off Amazon really cheap as well. Amazon do like a 50 pack for like £4, and they last ages. So it's 2 AAA batteries per controller. Obviously, if you want to use the other controller as well and play 2-player, you're going to need 4 AAA batteries altogether. Other than that, you're good to go. Just a plug-in source and a screen to play on, and you're good to go. So all in all, I think it's an amazing product. I can't rave about it enough. I will be doing some more playthroughs on it. I will be putting some more of this content on the channel. And if you guys want to see any specific retro games, please do let me know, because we're going to be diving into this big time as part of our retro diving content on the channel that we're starting to do at the moment. We are going to go back to do God of War. I've still got to do God of War 3. Probably going to dive back into that once we complete Oblivion Remastered, plus all this stuff to come as well. But this is just a chill thing to fire up. Even if you're not a streamer, even if you're not a hardcore gamer, this is just something you can put on your TV, plug it into your monitor, your laptop, your iPad, your PC, whatever it is, and you can just fire up some retro games and get some almighty nostalgia, which you deserve, and all the gamers out there deserve to know that this thing exists. Loads of options to load more ROMs, great battery life on the controllers. The only downside, and it is me being a little bit picky, is it just feels a little bit cheap plasticky controllers. Other than that, no complaints whatsoever, and I think it's well worth the price. So let me know in the comments, guys, if you've got any questions about this in particular. Let me know if you've picked one up and if you're enjoying it, if you've had any issues, and if you want to know any more about this device, if you've got any questions, just fire them into the comments for me and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Once again, thank you for checking out the video, and I'll see you again very soon. Peace!